Stay aware of the heart as much as possible. Even as we share, it might be a little hard to get used to. Being able to speak and be aware of that, but that is part of the practice as well. You're going to be practicing in your daily life how to stay aware of the heart and stay aware of the field, stay aware of that part of you that you can relax into. Right? We're in our own mind. And that will take a little bit of practice. But it's good because then you never lose awareness of your true self, the part that's been missing. If anyone wants to share their experience, it's really important and helpful to share with others. Everybody learns from everybody else. We're all God, experiencing ourselves from a different perspective. So when you share, you're talking to God. You're talking to yourself.
I'll share.
Okay.
As I have 2 other times, I believe, over these past 3 months, said, this is the first time in my life with you, Dr. Kat. I really feel, I feel the expanse. I experienced calling back in certain experiences that I've had in my life and had them grow. And it's and all the vocabulary, as a couple of us, when you interject the wording, it's just the right emphasis of the experiential happening of the energy. It's just, I thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else?
You have to unmute, mute, Nancy. Unmute.
Oh, it's harder to find on an iPhone. No, can't find it. You can try swiping. Well, anyone else want to go while Nancy figures that out? Scott, did you want to say, or Crystal, whoever wanted to go?
That was a very powerful experience, and thank you. Thank you for allowing me to have that experience and giving that gift to me. I felt the first time we dropped in, I kind of had a little hard time coming back, really. The second time, I could really sense the gravity of my body in my energy field. And then when you said to release that, I couldn't feel my physical body anymore. I only felt energy. And that was amazing experience. And then slowly through your guidance, I did come back to my body and feel my body, but I feel very different now. So that was my experience, and thank you again.
Yeah, you're welcome. Wonderful. Yeah, it allows us to. I'm sure you felt lighter, right? Less dense. Yeah.
Well, yeah, as the gravity released, I didn't feel boundaries, and that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
In a spiritual way, that connection, that vibration, that was the sensation that I felt.
Yeah, exactly. So when we identify as the physical body, we hold, there's a way that we hold ourselves apart from all of this space, right? And so as you start to understand that you're really all of this, you relax. Now, because that space has an infinite amount of energy, when you relax, that there's energy. Energy is information. Okay, so energy and information are one and the same thing. When you relax, you're allowing more energy and information transfer between the physical and the space. And again, it's the mind of the universe. It's also you. You're non-separate from it. So that is coming into you. It's going to educate you. And it gives you vitality.
I also had another experience when you said it's only this moment. Like spiritually, I just knew there really truly is nothing other than only this moment. This is the only thing that's real.
Yes.
And then you said it, and then I was, I could feel it though.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you for sharing that. Anyone else?
I
Yeah.
do.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead, Nancy.
Are you able to hear me?
Yeah,
Okay.
we can hear you.
I just want to say thank you because I felt God.
Mm.
And I felt one with God. And it was beautiful. It's a feeling that it not only filled me, but I felt everything being filled with that same feeling of oneness, of wholeness. And it's just beautiful. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Absolutely. So the thing to remember is it's always here. We just haven't been paying attention. And that's the only difference between Buddha and Jesus and the other masters, is they are more in the present moment. They are paying attention. Okay. And that's why I really emphasized, when you put your attention on it, then it registers, wow, that's peaceful, right? And that might only be the only thing you feel right now is just the peace, right? This empty space, the quality is peace, right? But it's also whole. And so when that registers in your mind, then you pay attention to it more. And then you pay attention to it more, and it amplifies. And this will become alive to you. You'll start feeling the more, the quantum level of reality. Your senses will open up to it. So what's really important in these meditations is to listen to what I say. Listen to those little tips that I'm giving you. They're very powerful. At least they were for me. I really paid attention to that type of information. So we need the knowledge and the experience, right? So I'm giving you the knowledge with the words I say, and then you applying that knowledge is key. You have to apply it now. So remember throughout your day as often as you can, I'm in the mind of God. Like I'm in a dream. I'm in my own mind, and I'm in the mind, and it's non-separate from God. Okay. Anyone else? Scott, where are you going to go?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Mhm.
Okay. So after doing it for a couple months, I've noticed that it's getting a lot easier to not be in my head. And it's almost immediate now. And today, I've had this happen before, but today it was like the initial shock of the bliss wasn't as present, because I've been in that immense ecstatic bliss so many times now. Now it's just complete, like just totally appreciating that I'm doing it all, and I'm doing it from the inner self. Um, you know, I guess it's easier to say, you know, before I would use my brain and sort of imagine the things that make me happy, the things, the experiences, and all that. But now I get this immense satisfaction from just knowing and experiencing that I am the all. I
Mhm.
mean, I am everything. I am all those experiences. I'm all those things, and just total delight in that.
Mm. That's beautiful.
Yeah,
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Dee is
sure.
going.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you. That
Mhm.
was great.
Yeah, you're welcome. Sam?
Yeah, it's hard to talk about it. Honestly, I don't know what I feel. It's very, very emotional, and I need some time to think about what just happened. But one thing I know for sure, I feel that some things in life are just meant to happen, and I've always thought, I wonder what it would be like to meditate around a group of people. So you read good and bad things about energies, and I've always thought I'd love to do that. And this was my first time, and I can't thank every one of you enough.
Mm.
Thank you for this experience. But otherwise, I just feel like I just need to take a step back and maybe think about these things for the next few days, and then it'll hit me maybe Thursday or Friday. And but my main thing is
Mm.
thank you, Kat, so much. I'm so happy to God that I saw your TikTok, and I want to thank the rest of you also. Thank you.
No, thank you, Sam. That's beautiful. Yeah. You know, so distance is an illusion, right? So entanglement, what Einstein called spooky action at a distance, was where they took electrons or photons and they sent one off this direction, one off this direction. They measure this one here, and instantaneously, when they measure this, they know what this one's doing. That proves the distance is an illusion, something they couldn't figure out for a really long time, but that's what that is saying. So think about your dream when we have, yep, when we have a dream at night and we experience space in the dream, right? But all of it is just an illusion, right? So
It's an
distance,
energy.
yeah, distance is an illusion. We're in a dream. So when you meditate, when we meditate together like this, we're all coming together. There's no space between us. That part is the illusion. That part is part of the space-time reality. But we're really spirits holding this dream. So we're all connected. And this is what humanity will start to really understand. And then we're going to behave differently when we really, really understand that. So that's why it amplifies when you meditate with people like this together in a group, even though we're, in space time, we're separated by a distance, we're really not. And this is why remote healings work, or prayer works. When you're praying for someone, or when you're sending energy to someone, because distance is an illusion. So as you were speaking, Jay was definitely nodding his head. Jay, did you want to say something?
Well, yeah, actually, again, thank you, everybody. I really enjoyed the sessions. But a few things that I think might actually help you. See,
Mm-hmm.
I've been doing this for almost 60 years. And I've been looking and searching and doing all kinds of things. The thing that I do most is that I search for tools.
Mm-hmm.
I want to get a tool that I can give to you so that you can duplicate the process, so that we can end up in the same place, so that we have the same understanding. You have to realize there's 8 billion people on this planet, but every reality is completely different.
Mm-hmm.
We're not the same, none of us.
Mm-hmm.
And my experiences lead me to this position in life, and your experiences lead you. So when we communicate back and forth, it's very, very difficult to get those two realities to intertwine so that you have full understanding, because that's what we're here to do, is to get the full understanding. So one of the things that I do, especially for the present time, there's a really simple tool that you can employ that will help you, and it'll bring you to present time immediately. The first thing is our breath. We breathe in and we breathe out. When we breathe in 3 times and then let it out 3 times, that will get your mind to stop working, and you'll be in a present moment. One of the things that I like to do is I'll sit and I'll close my eyes. And what I do is I just listen. I listen to every sound that I can. I'll hear a car, birds, anything. You just keep listening and try to get as many sounds as you can hear. And then the next one is looking. Look at something, but try to really observe the detail of that thing that you're looking at, right? And the same with smell. When you try to smell something, smell as much as you can smell, all the different kinds of flavors that come to your nose. And then the trick is sit there and then do all of it at the same time. Your sight, your sound, your smell, your vision, everything. And if you're doing this all at once, your attention is so focused on your environment and everything about you that you can't help but live in present time.
Exactly.
There's just, you can't escape it. You're there. And it's like any time that I know that, like when chaos or things start to occur, I learn to take breaths and center myself first, because this is an energy game that we're playing. That's all this is, right? It's us about how we manipulate energy, how we control the energy. So the idea here is that if you can always maintain a center and not have an emotional reaction against anything that comes at you, whether it's positive or negative, just realize that nothing's happening to you. It's happening for you. This is the whole point, you know? So those are some good tools, but some really good tool, especially when you were talking about how you take your mind to your heart. Now, there's a guy on TikTok, and I really suggest that all of you follow him. He goes by the name of Michael Manifestation.
I think I know him. Yeah.
Yeah, he does. He's at Sleep Fix is his handle.
Yes, I know him. Yeah.
He has a really wonderful tool about how to get the mind to the heart exercise. It's incredibly powerful. And in fact, the times that I have done it, I have been able to reach the unified field very easily. This guy's tool is very good. I highly recommend it. Another thing too to recognize is that we are here for emotions. We're here to experience emotions. That's really the purpose of life here.
The full range.
Yes. And so the thing is, the highest emotion that one can have is gratitude. When one has gratitude for things in life, that it's the highest frequency that you can achieve. So the thing is, when you're doing your heart-mind exercises, if you can place something of gratitude in your heart while you're thinking about it, your expansion will happen at 100x rate. It will just almost explode. It is nearly close to a Kundalini experience. Okay.
Yeah. Well, what I think is that, so this also the same, like as the most exciting feeling, right? So, and it can be gratitude. But also, if you imagine what white light feels like next time you're outside, go look at the sun, look at it as long as you can for a second, just to really see what that light, how clean and pristine it is. If you kind of also look, if it's too bright, you can look through it through leaves, through a tree, and you can see how clean the light is. That is what we are. I felt it. I had that Kundalini rising experience. I felt it, like everything is it. And I was able to move my body like unrestricted. It was like shaking a Raggedy Ann doll. There was no restriction in my body. Right. So that is who we are. And what I used to do too is I would let the sun, the light imprint, like make an imprint on my mind. And then I mimicked the feeling. I would feel that feeling. I would create that feeling of light in my body.
Mhm.
And you can do it right now, as you probably can just imagine what the sun looks like and how clean the light is. Like, especially when you're looking at it through a tree, you can see how clean the light is actually,
Exactly.
right?
Mhm.
So that is what we are that. We are that.
Yeah.
And the more, if you just create that feeling in yourself. Now, when you do that, nothing's missing and fear goes away
Mhm.
because there's no fear in that light. It's integrated, right? So we have to also remember that God is everything. It's the high frequency and the low frequency. And what does that white light represent? All of it, all the frequencies, right? So so it's integrated. And so when you're shining as that light, like it's hard to, you can't really experience anything but gratitude or but excitement. And you feel
Uh,
unlimited
Joy, peace.
joy,
It's
peace.
so,
Yeah,
yes, it's so incredible.
it's really incredible.
I describe it like touching the third wire on the subway. You know, the electricity is just so intense.
It is.
It just blows you out of the water. And I know the first time that I touched it, it was like a week. I was just walking around on air. You know,
Yeah.
so fantastic. So yeah, it's there. It is
Yeah.
absolutely there, and you can get to it.
Yeah. Well, we're in it. We're just not paying attention to it. Right.
Mhm.
So it's like we're not separate from it. But how much we're letting into our life is determined by how much we're paying attention to it.
Mhm.
You know, and then it gets better over the, you know, it's a process. We came for the journey. We came for this process. So don't get mad at yourself if you don't feel it all the time. But catch yourself. Just go, oh, I need to pay attention to it. Oh, right. So just remember and then keep going. You know, so
Mhm.
thanks, Jay.
You bet.
Anyone else? We've already gone a little bit over, but if anyone wants to share, I'd love to hear it.
Okay, well, I mean, you know how I feel about what we've been doing. So I thank everyone, for being present and everything. Can I just remind you to give the names again, or what you were talking about earlier, especially the spelling?
What was I talking about? I forgot.
About
Sorry. I was hoping you would remind me.
I think it was a couple of books and a couple of names or something. I couldn't reproduce it.
Seth Speaks. I think, I don't remember. Seth Speaks. I'll watch the recording and I'll let you know.
Yes, please. All right, darling. Thank you.
Okay. You're welcome, Mark. Thanks for coming. Joe, did you want to say anything?
Just real quick, I guess the underlying word would be peaceful, going through the exercise that you brought us through. So that was great. And then lastly, adding the layer of quantum physics and just that scientific modality onto spirituality and the way you explain it has helped tremendously. It gets me to a place that prior to adding that component, I wasn't there. And so I enjoy hearing that, and it gets me closer to the ultimate goal. So those two combinations, today's piece, and then that component of the intellectual component to the spirituality using quantum physics, has helped tremendously.
Okay, good. I'm so glad to hear that because I feel like that is so valuable too. Because once I discovered Nassim and, so basically I had the experiences I had and I wanted to write a book about it, but I was like, I can't just say this. No one's going to believe me unless I have the science to prove it. Because what I was understanding by going inward into my heart is I was understanding how reality was created. And I was like, how am I going to say this? People are going to go, what? Like, this is just one person's experience. So then I found Nassim. And so I started searching for, do any scientists know anything about this? And so I found Nassim Haramein, and he was the first, really only the first. I think I watched Michio Kaku I think I found him later, but anyway, so I found Nassim right away. He was the first person I found. And I was like, he's got it. I sat there and listened to a number of his events on YouTube, which I highly recommend that you do, especially, so there was one called Event Horizon, the Connected Universe. But anyway, as I was listening to him, I was like, oh my God, everything he said about physics was describing how reality is created, right? Which is what I was experiencing in my own consciousness. So by going inside, and it's not really inside because there is no inside, we're all of this, but by taking your level of awareness to these more subtle realms, you start to see how the universe is created. And so when I was listening to him, I was like, he's describing physics, right? The physical world and how the physical world is created. And I was like, I could see that it was us. This is what we are doing. We're creating it. And I could see how the universe was created. And it was remarkable. So I was so excited as I'm listening to him speak. I'm like, oh my God, this is what I felt and this is what I experienced. So these are some of his events, God knows, that are definitely, now he's going to describe some physics, but he does it in as layman terms as he can. But the important part is the essence of it. So just look up these events and then his name there. And then this is a really this is a really good video to watch, so you can see, it'll basically show you, so you can kind of get a picture in your mind of how the material world is being created from space. And while he's not going to go into, he's going to go into some spirituality, but not to the level that we've been discussing here. But that video right there that I just pasted in, that one's a really good one. So you can see how this space is creating this, okay, creating the material world, what we call matter. So these tiny units of light are vibrating and spinning. And then when they spin, they create a magnetic field, and that magnetic field is what we're touching. So when we touch matter, we're touching a field. We're not touching any particles. There are no particles. It's like the water in your bathtub. When you pull the drain and the water starts spinning, right? And when it starts turning in on itself like that, it creates a boundary condition, creates a magnetic field. And then that's what we're touching when we touch a particle. Okay, so when you bring your level of awareness down to the base of that, where to the field before the spin, or I think everything's spinning even. So before the forces are manifest, before that spin starts happening, you are below the laws of physics, basically. And that is where I believe these masters were able to go. They're creating massive coherence with the field. And then so they introduce a thought and then it manifests. So your degree of coherence, and with my experience, it just gets more and more and more. I mean, you start, like how I felt in the Kundalini Rising experience, where I was one with the space. Right? I don't go watch my video if you haven't watched it, where I felt like one with the space. I was the space. That's massive coherence. Now, I didn't know what was happening at the time. But anyway, so watch those. But we already went over 20 minutes, which is typical. Sorry about that. There's just so much to say. And sometimes when we're in the meditation, I'm just sharing with you what's coming through and I lose track of time. So. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. So the idea would be, I'm going to get these videos out to you today. The idea would be to listen, especially to the meditation piece, at least once a day. But I want you to start practicing throughout your day, being aware of the center of you, that field, expanding into it, and start walking about your life that way. Okay. Things will become more alive to you. You'll start to see things differently, but you're also going to have to let go of, you'll start to know, I mean, the things that we need to face, each one of us individually will become aware of. So just realize that. And so anytime you're feeling negative emotion, just realize, oh, that's my programming, right? That's what I was taught, but that's not who I am. Keep choosing to align to who you are, that bliss, that part of you is is always whole, always complete, blissful, creative, intelligent. So if you're not feeling that way, it's because you're aligning with your limited self, the dream self. So just put your attention back on the field and then notice, well, like Bashar says, what would I have to believe about myself in order to feel this way? So I picked up a belief somewhere, right? If you're not feeling anything but peace or above, ecstatic bliss, gratitude, appreciation, if you're not feeling those, then you're holding on to a belief that isn't yours, right? Some society gave it to us. So it's an obstacle course that we signed up for, right? That's all it is. That's all it is. And yeah, we're rising really fast. Be really interesting times. Okay. So I'll get those videos out to you. So I'm creating a private YouTube playlist and uploading them there. So make sure I have the email that you use to log into YouTube. I need that email because it's private. So you'll have to be logged into that on your YouTube account in order to see these videos. Okay. But when I did this work, I made sure that I did the meditation at least once a day. It was during COVID, so I was doing it twice a day. Plus I was also listening to the information part, the discussion part, because I really wanted it to sink in. So how we create our lives is with our beliefs, right? So the more we integrate these ideas, the more we will create our lives with them. We'll use this information to create our life, right? So, all right, well, have a beautiful rest of your Sundays, and we'll see you next week.
I have one quick question. How would you like us to give you the email address that's associated with our YouTube?
You can email it. Do you have my email?
Okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
just email it to me.
Thank you. Thank
Okay.
you. Bye, everybody.
Right. Bye,
Thank
everybody.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thanks very
thank
much.
you.
Cheers.
Thanks,
Bye.
everybody. Bye.
Bye-bye.